Hope I got enough for you.
I'm sure.
You know how fast you were going?
What? How fast you were going?
I don't know. 10?
8.
Be advised, this is an explicit podcast, so if you're easily offended, get your panties twisted into a knot, turn this off before you get butthurt and mad, start to cry, have to run to your safe space. All opinions are those of the host and his guest, and do not reflect the opinions of any government agency. Welcome to MOTORCOP Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, Iceman, and back on the ice line is Gigantor for part 2. We were really serious the first part, but we're not going to be serious on this one. He's going to tell us some fucked up shit that he's been involved in. If he did anything illegal, we don't want to hear about it. We want to hear the funny stuff. Are you single, or you got you a girlfriend?
Oh man!
Watch yourself. Watch yourself. Why
you gotta be asking that question?
Watch yourself.
I mean, I'm not married, so I think that qualifies me as single on tax reform, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's a good copy. He's being avoiding.
Hey, that's a good court question and good court answer.
Anyway, any single ladies out there, if you're in Missouri and you want to meet Gigantor, let me know. Since we can't get a full answer out of him. So he said he does have all his teeth and he has a job. So that ought to qualify him for a lot of stuff right there. He has teeth and a job. So, I mean.
Listen, teeth, a job, insurance.
Yeah, he has his own medical insurance. How about that? Sounds like a catch to me. All right.
It does, man.
So tell us some. I know you've had some just either funny or just stupid stuff happen.
All right. So you had my flesh and blood on not too long ago on one of your podcasts.
That's
and that
Asian lover.
The Asian lover. And of all the stories that he came up with was finding people at the park banging. I'm like, are you kidding me, man?
I always ask, because I don't know if you've heard the episodes with Freebird in it. Freebird's never had that naked call.
Really?
No, he's never had a naked call. And so I always ask everybody if they ever had a naked call.
Oh, man. So to me, they're not even calls. You just out patrol and you find them. And I used to get excited when I would find them because, man and girl, that's all right. But old Asian lover, he found out what happens when you find dude on dude. Is you don't go run up to the car no more. Oh, dear Lord.
That could just be a whole shitty situation right there.
That's about right. So, you know, as you could drive around, there's spots that you just go to, and that's where you find people doing dirty things to each other.
And you will wait until that certain time that that if they're going to be back there, that's when they're going to be back there.
Yeah, that's when they're going to be. So, and it was always fun for me because, like right now, our radio system we have now it's a digital system. So unless you have a digital scanner, you don't hear our traffic. But back in the day, everything was analog. So if you had a scanner, anybody can hear you. So I was a jerk, and I would like run everybody when I catch them banging, because generally it was two married people banging someone who's not married to them. So, you know, that was my retribution for the other person that was at home with the kids. But
oh, honey, I heard your license plate got ran.
Yeah, exactly right. But so one day, it was back when I was on street crimes. We were working hotels, and you're at a hotel, you think people would be in a hotel, but these two guys apparently couldn't afford a room. So they decided to take care of their business in their the vehicle outside the hotel. And, me being this young police officer who likes to catch girls half naked in a college town, catches two dudes balls deep in each other. And I was like, scarred for a long time after that.
If anybody has never come up on two guys, either full on in the, in the shit box, or, I used to work DOC penitentiary way back in the day, and I was making my rounds at night and caught this one dude sucking this other dude's dick. And it is something that will scar you, being a straight white male. And
real quick.
And the funniest thing is the first thing, I mean, you got to realize I was only like 22 at the time or so. I was young. First thing that popped out of my mouth was, "Get that out your mouth." I think about it all the time, like, God, I could have said something so much cooler than that, than "get that out of your mouth."
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, you go into as a heterosexual male, you don't expect to see that, and it's like, man, that was terrible. So whenever he goes on your show and tells the story of, and you're asking the question, well, why did you jump out of the car? That's why, because I don't want to see two guys banging, so I give them time to get dressed. So yeah, that's
is that a gun, or are you just happy to see me?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's terrible.
God.
But yeah, that's the reason. So
if y'all were,
I'm sure I've passed up some dandies, but yeah, it's good.
I just have to take the chance. You might have missed a good one. I've had quite a few of them that were just like, wow.
Yeah, I also had a guy that was by himself, and I only ran across that one time where beating off to some magazines, and I was just like, you had to drive to the park. You had to drive to the park to do this? You couldn't do this in your house.
Fuck, why didn't you do it at your own house?
Well, when you live with your mom and dad, it's kind of hard to do, I guess. I don't know.
He can't go in his bedroom or his basement or his
You think.
God. So it's like, I'm just going to go whack off in the park here.
Well, you know what's crazy? I pulled him out at gunpoint. Yeah. Well, I pulled him out at gunpoint because whenever I spotlighted him, he started shoving something underneath the seat. Well, to me and you, it's like he's got a gun or something, all right? So I pull him out at gunpoint, and when I pull him out, I'm not letting him reach down under the window so I can't see his hand. So he's coming out with dick out. And I'm like, whoa, pull your pants up there, slick. And then what he was doing was shoving up the gay porn magazines he had up underneath his seat. And it's like, what do you say to that? Like, hey, buddy, good job. I don't know what to say to you.
We had a park that the old apartment I used to work for. They used to have a park. It's the park still there, but they sent some undercovers in there, and they were having a lot of problems with homosexual prostitution and stuff. And they had a undercover. He was in the bathroom. Who actually, they had a glory hole in it. If anybody listening don't know what a glory hole is, just Google it.
Yeah.
But just clear your history afterwards. But anyway, it had a glory hole in it. And anyway, he was just like up in there. And this other guy, which this guy actually happened to live by me at the time, and this dude was like a big old long bearded Harley Davidson motorcycle dude. Anyway, he showed up in the bathroom and he propositioned the undercover, and next thing you know, this dude done pulled his dick out. He's chasing the undercover guy around the bathroom with his dick out in his hand, and the undercover guy's running away, trying to get away from this dude chasing him with his dick out. I say, go ahead, suck it, come on. I mean, needless to say, the dude got arrested and shit like that. He ended up actually selling his house and moving out of state after this shit. But
man,
I'm still the biker dude. But he like pulled his dick out, and then it the fucking chasing the cop around with his dick out, trying to get him to suck it. It's like,
And how do you explain that to your other buddies in the biker gang? You just can't. There's no way you can fucking argue that.
yeah,
It is what it is.
And, you know, I'm just fuck it. I don't know. I just don't know. But it's like, that poor guy was like, motherfucker I was trying to get away. He kept trying to chase me with his dick.
So the best part is you have to write that in reports. So that way they don't show to their friends, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's fucking hilarious. So, tell us something. Like I said, you've been doing this a long time, so I know some crazy shit has happened to you.
Oh, man. So, like, I'm sure you deal with people, and like a few years later, you deal with them, and they don't recognize who you are.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So, we get a call on the other side of town for, like, these two vehicles. There's people in it. They're fighting. So, I can't remember why, but we're all responding from the station. I think it must have been like shift change, something like that. But anyway, we're running down the main route to where this call is. And any dispatch center that takes a call, it's not instantaneous. It usually takes like a minute or two for them to get the information and relay it to us. So we're coming on this intersection, and we see two cars matching the description of the suspect vehicles that these people were in that were fighting. And they turn in front of us, and there's basically me and another car in front of me, and we light them up. And we both stop these cars. Mine pulls into an alley, and then I walk up to the car. This guy looks out the window and looks at me and goes, "You fucking lost?" And I don't know why, but it triggered me, and I jerked that motherfucker out of his car window, like, instantaneously. Because in my mind, I guess I'm going to a fight, and these guys are fighting, and now this guy's asking me if I'm lost. He wants to fight. So I jerk him out of his car window. As he's coming out of the window, he starts crying. And, you know, us cops would put people against cars and put him in the handcuffs, and he's bawling, and his girlfriend in the front seat's laughing at him, which is hilarious on its own. Well, it turns out neither one of these cars are involved in this fight that we had called to. They just matched the description of the cars in the fight. So, like, once we determined that they're not involved, and this guy's bawling his eyes out, I'm like, man, I'm sorry. This is why we stopped you. This is why I pulled you out of the car. So you fast forward like 2 years ahead, and I stop a car. And, you know, I'm not a ticket writer. I'm more like I hunt for dope and other stuff, you know, in traffic stops. So I'm cutting this guy a break, and he's talking. He's like, man, he goes, "You're the nicest cop who's ever stopped me." I'm like, really? I'm like, man, I appreciate it. He goes, yeah. He goes, like 2 years ago, this fucking asshole pulled me out of his car window and slammed me against my car. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, that was fucking me. So I'm
you
like,
didn't look at him and say, you didn't look at him and say, like, yeah, I've been to counseling since then.
Yeah, no, that would have been a smart thing to say. I was just like, hey, man, I'm sorry to hear that for you, brother.
Dude was a dick.
Yeah, I think I was a dick. But it was definitely me, because I went back and looked his name up in the system, and it was me in that stop 2 years earlier.
On the first time, did he say why he asked you if you were fucking lost?
He thought he was being fucking funny. But apparently, I didn't think it was funny because I jerked him out his car window.
Well, his girlfriend got a kick out of it.
She did. I thought that was the best part of the whole thing. Was
probably
that
got back in the car and she's like, "You little bitch," fucking crying.
Yeah.
Was she with him the second time?
No, she wasn't.
She probably dumped him when found a real man. I mean,
I would say
I don't see
right.
how they think that. Well, you fucking lost. I'd have been like, no, but you're about to be.
Who the hell says that to a cop when they pull you over?
No idea.
So in my mind, I'm thinking this dude was just in a fight and he's ready to roll. I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's do it. I'll bring you out your car window to do it. So yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, that's funny when they don't recognize you.
Yeah, it is. It's the best. Because then you can like smooth it over and be like, oh, that guy's a dick. I'm a nice guy.
I've had people, like, when I've been not in uniform a long time ago, they were like, man, aren't you a cop? I'm like, no, my twin brother is, and he's an asshole. I can't stand that motherfucker. You know, like, really? I'm like, yeah, I mean, we fucking, you know, we're identical twins. We don't even talk. You just ass. I don't have no brother.
Well, then you played up like, yeah, I fucking hate my brother.
Yeah.
Dick.
Yeah.
He wrote me a ticket one time.
It's like, I don't have no brother. Well, they don't know that.
Exactly.
Oh, that's pretty good. Give us some more.
Yeah.
I know you can.
Oh man. So remember back in the day when meth was like the scourge of the nation before opiates really took over?
Right after crack meth came out.
Yeah. So there was this group. So where I'm from, they cook meth all the time. So you never knew if you had like a phosphorus cook or a one pot or what, right?
Yeah, because
so everyone would.
They're dangerous in the cookhouse. You could explode at any moment.
Yeah, and it's like for some, I don't know, maybe it was just me and I was young, but it seemed like depending on how they cooked it, depending on the person reacted, whatever was in it, right? So we do this traffic stop on this guy, and he's a cook. We're taking him down for task force, and like he's a bad dude, like he's shot people. So there's a bunch of us, and we take him down, and we get to the car, and there's this midget in the back seat, and she was high as fuck, and she had her feet in the air, and she was holding her hands, rolling around the back seat, saying "we" like she's on a fucking carnival ride, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And she was like rolling around in the back seat while we're fucking pulling this other guy out at gunpoint who's driving the car, and I'm like, "This is it's such a different atmosphere from like one part of the car to the other part of the car." I was like, what do you do?
Thought you had Oompa Loompa in the back.
She was, man, just like rolling around, like didn't give a shit about what was going on around her.
She wasn't going, wee, wee.
She was like, wee. I was like, what the fuck? Man, whatever she was on, she was happy. So that was all there was to it. She didn't give a shit. So, and we actually dealt with her like a month later. They had her in the trunk of a car, and we were searching the car.
The people y'all pulled over had the little midget girl in the trunk.
In the trunk, and they popped the trunk. And
that guy, she didn't go woo.
She did. She started fucking running down the highway. It's like, you chase her? So we fucking ran her down, which wasn't really that hard. Put her handcuffs. It's just like, what? Like, you pop a trunk, you don't expect like a midget to jump out of the fucking back of the car and start running.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Dispatch. Could you call? I need you to call Wonka World and see if they're missing anyone.
Yeah. She was, and the best part though, she was the nicest person ever. But she was always high and was always on meth. And it was like,
I wonder.
What are you?
I wonder if we'll go PC with it. I wonder if little people have to use as much drugs as big people to get high, or do they need less drugs?
Buddy,
that's a scientific question. I'll have to look that.
That's a good question to ask next time I deal with that situation.
We had a midget guy where I used to work that we used to deal with all the time, and he was such a little dickhead, man. He was an asshole. I don't know if he had short person syndrome or what, but the dude was an ass. And it was funny one time I stopped him. I forget what they were doing, but I stopped him, and I had him told him to put his hands on the hood of my car, and all you could see was his hand sticking up there.
Dear Lord.
Short. And he looked at me, he's like, he said, next time I see you, I'm going to whip your ass. And I'm just like looking at him. I'm like, you're like 3.5 feet tall. It's like the fuck, you can't even kick me in my knee, motherfucker. It's like, but this dude want to fight you in a heartbeat. It's like, I can't fight you, man. I'm saying, because this is going to be bad both ways. If I whip your ass, I'm the guy that just whipped the guy that whipped the little midget's ass, or if you whip my ass, I just got beat up by a midget. So we not fighting. Yeah. So step off, Cletus. I'll have to spray you or something.
Oh dear Lord! It's like you felt the use of force for me. You put like your size on her 6'4", 260, and the person you're wrestling was like 3'2", 75 pounds.
Well,
it's like, are you?
At that time, I'm 6 foot, and I was running about, I don't know, about 240. I was benching 400 and some pounds at the time and stuff like that. Used to be in the gym a lot. It's like, I'm not fighting this little midget dude, but he wanted to fight and shit. I was like, he was an asshole. He was not nice at all. But I mean, is the midget girl still around? Is she single?
Oh, I haven't seen her in like 5 or 6 years.
Because I always said, I said one time, I said, I'm gonna find me a little person one time, if I'm ever single again and dated. Because
dear Lord.
my dick would look ginormous in a little person's hand like that. And then I would take a picture of it. It's like, look how big it is now. I'm not telling you she's 2.5 feet tall. But
oh shit.
But yeah, but I guess just like anything else, this little guy was, at least yours was nice. I wish I could see her face when she jumped out that trunk and took off running there. I'd be like, holy shit. Why was she in the trunk?
Buddy, I don't know.
Were they kidnapping her or what?
No, they're all fucked up on dope. I don't remember asking the question of why she's in there. I just was like perplexed when she took off running. I'm like, really? Is this really happening right now? It's like, no, this is not happening.
It's like a guy in a wheelchair trying to, he takes off on you. It's like, dude, really?
Yeah, like I've never had that happen, but it's like, what do you do? Do you like run them down?
We had this guy I work with. I call him Hondo. He's still active, and he used to work for a college department one time, a college dance party. Well, they had this guy that was like, he was paralyzed. I don't know if he was quadriplegic or I think it's just his legs were paralyzed. But he was in a wheelchair. Well, for some reason, he had an attitude also. Well, they were out on patrol one time, and the handicapped guy was drunk, rolling down the road, and they made him stop because he was going to get his ass run over or something. And the dude looked at Hondo and told him he was going to whip his ass. I'm going to kick your fucking ass. Well, Hondo looked at him and said, well, just stand up and let's start this shit going. They're like, dude, you're such a dick. You told a fucking paralyzed dude to stand up. It's like, well, come on, get on out that chair. Let's fight.
Let's do it, motherfuckers. I bet that pissed them off, too.
I'll run over your toe.
No, that's the bad, man. We can be so mean to people.
Oh yeah. Like, you got any like just stupid shit with DWIs or anything like that? I'm not a big DWI worker.
So, trying to think, man. Not really. I may have worked DWIs because Miz have, but nothing too crazy. I mean, no, not really. I mean, I'm sure I've had stories. That's a problem. You do this long enough, you forget more stories than you could possibly tell.
I got to where I start having to write shit down. If I remember, I was like, I remember this. I have to write it down because when I might think about it on Monday, I'll go record on a Sunday or something. I'm like, I don't totally fucking forgot what I thought about it because there's so much stuff going on. Things with drunk people, they're usually either really nice or really an asshole.
I'll tell you what, man. I would much rather work a DWI drug than a DWI alcohol. Alcohol, man, people are assholes. But if they're on drugs, they're nice. I mean, they're fucked up. But most of the time, they're not dicks. They're happy-go-lucky, and they want to cooperate.
Well,
so I'll take those all day long.
Marijuana's not legalized up where you're at yet, then.
It is. So it's medical. Yeah, you get the permit.
No, they don't have recreational.
No, it's like $50. It might as well be recreational because if you go spend like I think it's $50 or $100, and whoever the doctor is will give you the permit, and you can just go smoke all the weed you want to. So
I tell them all the time, like, I'm on law enforcement people like legalize this shit. It seems like it feels like 80% of the fucking public smoking it. And somebody said something to me about it. I said, let me tell you what I said. I've been doing this almost 30 years. I've had to chase crackheads, meth heads, fucking opioid people. I said, in 30 years, I had to chase one weed head, and he wasn't too hard to catch, and I'm not fast. I said, most people on weed, they're not going to fight you.
That's not true. I'm going to tell you something right now, man. All right.
We all got bad. You almost have bad weed up north. Down south, we must have mellow weed.
It was this chick. All right. So and she's a hippie too, which is even worse. Like we get called for like odor marijuana, and we go over. And this is like when we first started street crimes unit. So we go over there, and it's obvious. You can smell it in the fucking parking lot. It smells so strong. So it was so bad. We had to knock on a couple different doors and be like, "Hey, do you know where her weed's coming from? Because it's that strong." And they open their door, and you can tell it's not coming from that apartment.
It's like you bring a K9 out, and he just hits on the building itself.
Yeah, he's like, "It's here somewhere, Dad." So we found all right, this is the apartment it's coming from. And we knock on the door, and when they open the door, like what you thought you could smell in the parking lot, knocked you out at the door. It was so strong.
You got secondary high off of it.
And obviously, people don't realize, I don't need a search warrant to come into your apartment. I need a search warrant to search your apartment. So they're like, you ain't fucking coming in. And we're like, nah, we're going to come in and we're going to seize your apartment and we're going to go to search warrant. Well, during the go in and secure phase of it, this chick fought us like fucking 10 dudes were fighting us. We broke the fucking coffee table. We broke the couch. We broke the end table next to it, fighting this chick to secure her so we could secure the apartment.
Is she a big girl or a little girl?
No, man. I bet she didn't, maybe $150. But she fought like she was fucking like two dudes. I kid you not.
Like two bobcats in a sack.
Man, she did not want to go to fucking prison. That's how bad she was fighting. It was legit. Maybe because we weren't willing to punch her in the face. As long as she kept fighting, but I was like, when we got done, I was like, fuck, we fucked this place up. Because normally, if it's a guy, man, I'll fucking drop a dude in a heartbeat. But a chick, I try not to hurt her because I feel bad as a guy doing that. But man, we broke some shit with her, and she fought hard.
One of the worst fights I ever been in was with a female. Well, she was a bull dyke, but this bitch, man, we fought. I ended up putting a dent in the hood of my car, my unit, with her head because we were fighting so bad. I'm like, man, this fucking bitch. Finally, I just grabbed her she had kind of a mullet type cut. I just grabbed it and rammed her head in the hood of the car once, and that didn't work. Second time, the third time, dazed her enough where I could get her ass cuffed because I had no help around there. And, she was the one on the way to jail. She's like, yeah, why don't you go suck your own dick? I was like, honey, if I could do that, I would be arresting you right now.
Listen, I'd be making my own money on TV.
Yeah, exactly. This was before Pornhub, but I've been but I'm like, then I get, she had crashed it. She had stolen a car and then she crashed it. That's when I caught her. Well, we get to the jail by the time I get to jail, my supervisor's there and she's got a fucking goose egg on her head now, her forehead. My supervisor's like, fuck happened to her? So I think she hit her head on the steering wheel when she crashed the car. I was like, but I'm telling you, I had to do what I had to do at that point. I was starving. She did not want to go to jail.
No.
And she
it's
probably,
hard, right?
I probably only had her by about 30 pounds. She was a big girl. And finally I just fuck it. I just got to do what I got to do. I mean, because I think my nearest backup was coming. They were still like 10 minutes away. And people don't realize, I mean, you get in a full out fight like that, 2 minutes into it, you're basically gassed. I don't care. Yeah. I was in shape back then. And you don't realize how quickly you get gassed out.
Nope. Man, remember, I told you in the first hour, you fight to win. You don't fight fucking fair.
Yeah,
and it's hard with a woman. It's hard with a chick because, you're growing up, your daddy. I'm sure if your dad was like my dad, he's like, hey, you don't fucking hit on women.
Oh, no, my mom or my dad would have killed me if I ever put my hands on a woman. But, if you're going to fight me like a man, I'm going to fight you back like a man. I mean.
Yeah, well, you draw blood, it's game on, brother. We're fucking doing this.
I mean, some of them women, man, they wildcats.
Yes, they are.
We had we had this one woman one time that worked out here. She was a stripper, and we used to go to her house all the time for domestic. This is before domestic violence was a big thing. Before they had laving sheets and all stuff like that. Anyway, every Sunday or Sunday morning or very early Sunday, I mean Saturday, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, we'd always, a couple times a month, we'd have to go to her house for domestic violence. She'd come home drunk and domestic violence would take place. The problem is the domestic violence was not against her.
Yeah, she whooping her old man's ass.
She would come home and he would be pissed off because she was drunk and stuff like that. Well, she was also like a 2nd-degree black belt and like some type of karate, some martial arts shit. And he'd go off and she would beat the shit out of him. We're like, dude, why don't you just shut the fuck up?
No joke, right?
It's like, I've been over here 3 times. You done whipped your. I mean, like one time we went over, this motherfucker's eye was swollen shut and shit like that. We're like, dude, you need to like shut the fuck up or leave her because she's gonna kill you. She was a good looking chick, but I don't know what happened to them. They finally moved. I don't know if they split up or what, but she used to just, I was like, dude, you just need to. This is like I said, this is before She's like, I don't want you to bring her to jail. I'm like, all right, fine. Because we didn't have the domestic violence laws like you have now where you almost obligated to arrest. I don't know if y'all are like that.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah, we're like that too.
But back then it was like, he's like, I mean, does he really want to, I'm so serious. She used to beat the fuck out that dude. And we didn't mind going over there because she's a good looking chick. She was always nice to us.
Yeah, because she wasn't coming home to you, whoop your ass. she got it out of her system before you got there.
It's like, oh yeah, I mean, like I said, she fucked this dude. I was like, God. Go ahead.
Have you ever got the trifecta on somebody?
What's the trifecta? Tell me what you call that.
Blood, piss, and shit.
No, I think I've had the blood and the piss. I haven't had this shit. Hold on. I just knocked on some wood because he just jinxed me. So, you've gotten that,
buddy. So it's even worse than that. So one of me and one of my close friends in the department, he was in task force for a while, and I wasn't a sergeant yet. He came to me. He's like, "Hey, I need to go serve a search warrant. You want to come with me?" He goes, basically he says, like, I don't need a SWAT team, but I just need a couple of guys to go with me. I'm like, yeah, I'll go with you. And me fucking being a jokester as I'm walking through, my captain's in the report room. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing? We're going to go do search warrant. I said, hey, why don't you go ahead and get that use of force paperwork ready? And he looked at me. He goes, no. I said, no, get it ready. We'll be back. And I'm just fucking with him, right? So we go. And basically the plan is to do a ruse because we're not using the full team. He's going to go knock on the door, and this guy's got this fucking car outside. He's going to be like, hey, I want to buy your car. Can I come out and talk to you about it? Well, what we don't realize is this dude's cutting like 3 ounces of fucking meth on his table, and he's high as fuck. So I'm sitting up it's a duplex, and it's like the garage sticks out a little bit further than the front door. So me and 3 other dudes are up by the garage door, and I'm the first one. And the plan is once he comes out the door, I'm going to fucking just run up and snatch him because I'm fucking Gigantor. And that's just what I do, right? So he comes out the door. I come around the corner to grab him. And I don't grab him. He fucking grabs me. And I'm like, well, this is fucking new. So I know that people don't grab me. So I got to grab him. And I'm picking his ass up off the ground. And while I'm doing that, my buddy punches him in the face. And then, like, it's a little bit of a drop off from the concrete step to the front door. And I pick him up, and it's like midwinter, not like snow on the ground, but the ground's kind of hard. So I pick him up and I fling him around and I slam him on the ground. Well, when I do that, I knock him the fuck out. He's out cold. And like we get him in cuffs, and he might have got a couple of reminders of why you don't grab the police when they come to the door in uniform. And we get him up, and I'm like, basically, man, what the fuck's your problem? Well, instantly I realize he's not home. His eyes are open, but he ain't fucking there. And he's bleeding from the face. And I'm like, fuck me. And the bell's been rung, and we let him kind of like recover for a few seconds and stand him up. And he's he's pissed himself. And we're like, man, you're all right. And by this time, like, his brain's starting to work, but he doesn't realize that he's not home yet. So he's just like answering questions like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, let's go inside. And we go inside. We sit him on his couch. And, man, it's been like, we're in there for like 10 or 15 minutes. And I look at my buddy. I'm like, man, we fucked him up. He's like got a concussion. Like, he's not right. And we smell something that doesn't smell right. So we fucking stand him up because we're gonna move him, and we turn him around, and he shit everywhere. So he's got blood from his face. He pissed himself, and he shit himself at some point. And I was just like, "Damn, we fucked this poor guy up."
So who transported him?
No, so yeah, he he did go to the hospital, but he turned out to be a pretty good snitch, apparently, because he bought a bunch of fucking dope up with this guy. But I was like, what the fuck? And then, like, my captain, because obviously we got to do paperwork, he just looked at me, he's like, what the fuck, man? Like, seriously? The bad part is the next time after that, we went and I helped my buddy do another search warrant. We fucked another guy up, and my boss was like, no more. You motherfuckers are not allowed to go out together to serve search warrants. So we were cut off, but I was like, damn, man, we fucked that dude up. He's a big boy. And like the best part though was whenever he started coming around, he's like what the fuck happened to me? And I was like, yeah, you grabbed my jacket, buddy. I'm sorry.
Tripped off the porch.
Yeah. I was like, man, I'm like, it's not personal, brother. You just grabbed my jacket and I got to take care of my business. And he's like, no, man. He goes, I don't hate you either. I'm like, no, we're good then, right? He's like, yeah, we're good.
This must have been a back in the day call.
It's been a few years, yeah. It's been a few years.
When I first started, I mean, if you got in a fight with somebody and fucked them up, the bad guy be like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that or whatever. I had that several times, you know. I mean, they actually questioned the guy. Bruised like 3 of this dude's ribs. I mean, he was black. I'm black and blue. He like could barely get out the bed in his jail cell. Like, what happened? He's like, you want to file a complaint against him? He's like, no. He said, I tried to run away and he caught me and I fought a little bit, so I got what I deserved. You don't get that shit now. You don't get that shit nowadays. The bad guy's like, no. Man. He's like, no. He's like, I kind of deserved it. And he's like, you know, I mean, nowadays, my ass would have been on fucking CNN or some shit like that.
Yeah. Back in the day when street justice meant something, man. Like, so I grew up, and I'm sure you did too, in a time when if you got into a fight, when you got done fighting somebody, whatever you were fighting about was over with. You shook hands and you moved on.
Shit. We'd beat the hell out of each other, win or lose. Usually the loser would buy fucking lunch.
Yeah. I mean, it was
you would eat lunch together, and it was done. It was done. It's like, you fucking whip my ass. I'll get your ass next time. Next time we get in disagreement, I'm going to get your ass next time. But, I mean, it was done.
No. Yep. It ain't like that now, man. Now it's like, oh, you can beat my ass. I'm going to stab you next time. Like,
over.
That's
even if they get in a fist fight now. Now they just want to pull guns out and start shooting everybody.
Oh, that's a true story. So you say the other day, we had a fucking 16-year-old man pulled out a gun on a fucking female because she disrespected him. And I'm like it blew my mind because I never imagined that where I live. Like, it happens. You know, every couple of years we'll have something like that. But I was just like, are you serious? You know, and when I was growing up, I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. And we had I was fortunate I lived in a good area, but I still I had friends who did not live in a good area and they were in gangs and stuff. But even then, if they were taking guns, it was because of something else. Like, usually if they were fighting or someone disrespected, it was like knives or some type of bat or metal stick. Like, it wasn't, you didn't go to gun because man, that changes the game when you go to guns. But
we never even fought with weapons. When I was I'm older than you. When I was in school, I mean, where I grew up, we were very, very country out here. It's not that way anymore. But I mean, I'm talking, it was, dirt roads and cattle gaps, and they had open range. Where I lived, it was called an open range. It would be nothing. You'd be standing outside in your yard. Next thing, you'd be surrounded by 80 head of cattle. That wasn't yours. It was just open range. People that, was branding stuff. I mean, so it was very, very country. And it was nothing. I mean, everybody in school, if everybody had shotguns or rifles in their racks in the school parking lot.
Yep.
Everybody had pocket knives in their pockets at school.
Yep.
I mean, and we get in fights all the fucking time, because back then, if you got in a fist fight, I think nowadays it's 0 tolerance, so it's to expel you. But
yeah,
worst thing you were going to get in a fist fight, and we didn't even have detention. You were getting licks.
right.
You were getting hit by the paddle by the principal. But so, I mean, you get in a fight and win or lose, then you go to the office and get hit some more. So, I mean, but it's like nobody ever thought about pulling a knife out on somebody in a fight, or go and get a gun out of their car. That was never even thought of.
No, but honestly, what's more manly? Fucking go fist to fist, or fucking use a weapon? Man, don't be a pussy. Go fist to fist.
And be a real man, and if you lose, you lost.
Yeah,
you
and
can't win every time. You beat my ass, we'll get a gun and shit. I mean, to me, that's just pussy fire. Or to me, the biggest thing nowadays is like, oh, what was that over? Oh, he disrespected me. Really? So you're gonna go kill somebody because they disrespected you? Kind of the fuck? If I shot somebody every time I was disrespected, there'd be a bunch of dead people on the side of the road when I pull up. What, you gonna disrespect me on this traffic stop? Boom. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Yeah, no, that's not a fucking joke, man. It blew my mind. 16 years old. You disrespect me, I'll pull a gun on you. Where the fuck did you learn that?
I was sitting at a funeral this week, waiting on a funeral. We were at the church waiting for the funeral to come out, to do the escort. And a block and a half away from me, we were inside the city limits, and comes out over the radio. They had some man pulled up at the PD station. I'm at the sheriff's office. He pulled up at the PD station. The woman in the car got shot in the head. They were on another location. He drove over there. I heard on radio they went over there. I mean, they was like over 12 shell casings in a row, just spraying. I don't know if they were in a target or if they just happened to be in crossfire or what. I mean, this person got shot in the head over probably just bullshit.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you what, try not to get too serious, but like we had a murder, and he went to prison for murder, gets out, paroles, commits another murder, and we catch him. And this dude's old school. He just gave up. And like before this whole deal I met him. He's the nicest guy to me, fucking respectful as hell. And he had a disagreement with somebody. There was a murder committed, and we caught him. I'm like, man, what the fuck? And he's like, hey, you gotta take care of your business. I'm like, man, I was like, man, you gave up pretty fucking easy. He goes, I don't have a beef with you.
Exactly.
You've always been good. You've always been good to me. He goes, I got no reason to fucking get in a fight with you guys.
Like everybody talks about the old mob days with the actual mob when they had organized crime. People respected them because the fact was they wasn't going to kill you unless they had a beef with you. And when they did go to kill you, they didn't kill innocent people around you. They just killed the person that they were after. Nowadays, they missed the person that they were shooting at, and the poor 2-year-old gets shot.
Yeah.
It's fucking
fuck, man, they just train them motherfuckers up right there. But so back to being kind of funny.
Yeah, because we're getting
so it's never funny for a cop to get into a shooting situation. But one of my guys had a shooting. Nobody got shot. It was over with. We took the bad guy into custody, and he shot like 8 times and he missed the bad guy. So
sure, getting ragged on that shit.
Oh, brother, it took me like so. Obviously, we gotta be serious on scene and take care of our business. So we get back to the office, and we do things right. Like we don't ask questions. We ask the basic questions that required of us as far as the specific incident, but like we don't want to ask guilt-seeking questions because they still have a right to. We want to take care of our guys and make sure they're not answering questions that are going to give them trouble in court later. So we just ask specific questions. But so we're talking, and he's like, yeah, I did all my inventory and stuff and turned everything in. I said, hey. He goes, what? He goes, it's not about your fucking sights. Were they on the fucking gun too and turned it in? I was like, you motherfucker. And he just started laughing. I'm like, you ain't living this time. I'm going to fucking harass you for a long time. We did, man. Because he's on the SWAT team too, and you can't take away, like, until you're in that situation, you don't know. But damn, we're gonna fuck with you every day for a long time after that incident. So whenever we go to a range and shit like that, it's just like, hey man, check your sights, make sure they're on.
Yeah. I got ragged for a while on one. I discharged my firearm. We wouldn't, but I was on a call looking for a runaway kid. This lady comes out, or comes from. I was in a residential area. Well, she had this fucking pit bull mix with her. This fucking dog charged at me. Well, she was probably about 20 yards away from me, but I'm surrounded by houses. I'm thinking, I've been dog bit before on duty. I said that shit wasn't happening again. Well, I can't shoot straight because she's in front of me. There's houses all around me. So I let the dog get really close to me, and I shot straight down at the ground towards the dog because I didn't want the bullet to ricochet or something like that.
Right.
Well, I missed the dog. Like right there. I saw the bullet. I mean, it went right beside that dog's head. You could see where it hit the ground. I mean, it was just, millimeter. But of course, the dog took off and ran back to the woman. I looked at her. I said, you better get control of your dog because I'm not going to warn it next time. And she's like, oh, thank you for just warning him and not killing him. I was trying to blow that fucker's brains out, but I missed. But now that I just charged.
That's a good cover, buddy.
Yeah. I'm like, next time I'm not going to give it a warning. But I done discharged my weapon in the residential area. So now I got to put this shit on the radio that I done discharged my weapon. And I'm like,
oh.
So I key the radio up. I mean, I can't. I was like, look, if y'all got a report of any gunshots fired, I did discharge my weapon. I fired at a dog, and everything's code for. Well, so of course the guys picked up on it. They were like, at the dog.
I'm like, details, buddy, details.
Yeah, I'm like, so later on they're like, what do you mean you shot at the dog? I said, well, I shot at it and I didn't hit it. I was like, I got ragged on it. I mean, it was right down, but I'm like, hey, it fucking happens. But I mean, I took shit for fucking probably years on that. People would bring that shit up, me shooting at the dog. It's like,
oh, buddy.
Hey, shit fucking happened. I said, she didn't know. She thanked me for giving it a warning shot because that's what I told her. I said, at least I was quick on it. I said, now I ain't going to warn it next time. She's like, oh, thank you so much. I'm like, God, I missed it.
And it's brutal. We're brutal, man. We do not give each other breaks.
Well, that's what gets me with some of we talked about the newer cops on the other ones. I mean, cops razz the fuck out of each other constantly.
Oh,
if
bad.
You can't take a good fucking razz, especially if you said something stupid or do something stupid or whatever, you're gonna get it. And everybody's gonna get it. Nobody is immune to it,
Not for a second.
Had a guy we worked with one time. They had this other guy at a different department. I mean, he was like one of them muscle guys, always in the gym. I mean, he was just shredded, six packs. I mean, chest. I mean, he came over to one of our parties. We're like, dude, put a fucking shirt on, man. I mean, fucking our wives are around. You're making us look bad. We were on our office one time, and they were like, this is when MySpace and shit was still up. Well, he had pictures of himself posted up there with no shirt on, like posing and shit. We were like, dude, look at, Mr. Muscle Man over here. We were fucking making fun of him. This other guy we worked on says, he just kind of looked at him and says, well, I mean, he does look good. If I look like that, I would take them pictures too. We just kind of all looked at him like, and then he realized what he said. And we were like, because if I did look like that too, I would have pictures. I'd walk around at Walmart with no shirt on. But I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say it out loud. And we just kind of all looked at him. He's like, "What?" We're like, dude, you're gay. Man, fuck y'all. I mean, because it's like, pick your words, buddy. Pick your words.
Yeah, relentless is what it is, man.
I mean, I'm sure y'all have them. Every department has the muscle guy.
Well, it's always like, hey, man, your brother asked for a shirt back. It's like, come on now.
Oh, yeah, we got one guy that works. He's a sergeant. Works out with us, and he's not a real big muscle guy, but he goes to the gym. He's in good shape, He works out a bit, but he likes to wear his like uniform shirt. He's some tailored down really tight.
Yeah,
there's a guy that works on his shift. He's a small. I mean, this guy probably weighs 115 pounds. He's not real tall. He's skinny. He's a small guy. He come up to us at lunch one day, the muscle guy, and I was like, I just couldn't help myself. I looked at him. I said, hey, so and so called. He's like, yeah, well, what do he need? I said, he needs his fucking shirt back, motherfucker. And he's like, man, all of the guys started laughing. He's like, man, fuck you, man. I just can't help myself. I'm just that asshole sometimes. Shit just pops
listen,
up on me.
if you go to the tailor and you want your shirt struck down, but you just gotta take what comes with it. That's all there is to it.
I get mine tailored, but it's not for that reason. I don't. You know how uniform shirts come in the sleeves are like will come down past your elbow.
Yes, I hate that.
I can't stand that shit. So I have mine tailored up some, but I don't have them tailored so tight that it's cutting circulation off in my arm or nothing like that.
No.
And I'm like,
never.
You know, some of the guys have them tailored, you know, to V down. I'm like, no, can you add some material to fluff mine out towards the bottom?
Yeah, I want to be comfortable.
I just don't want it, you know, I just can't, I don't like the way it feels when I bend my arm and I feel my shirt, you know. So
yep, I'm with you on that.
And I'll have my pants tailored down, tapered down towards the ankle and stuff like that. Especially if I get on a bike or something, you don't want to, you know, if you're in straight legs, you don't want your pant leg coming up around your knee while you're going down the road. Well, buddy, it has been a complete joy having you on, both of them. I'm going to have to get you on again another time, so I know you have more story.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. I appreciate it.
You have to let your buddies listen to. If you have any of them out there that would like to come on and shoot the shit, let me know too.
Yeah.
Or if you have any paramedics, or if you know any nurses that would like to tell some nurse stories. I mean, that's first responder in my eyes.
Oh, listen, all they do is complain because the cops don't get there fast enough and they get beat up, and I'm just like, hey,
y'all's hospital don't have full-time security.
They got full-time retired guys who.
Oh,
so this is the way to either they're retired or they couldn't make it as cops, so they had to work security.
Oh,
you know how those guys are.
Y'all's hospital don't hire like extra duty cops in.
So some of us do work there. Like I got a part-time gig there, but I can't ever work because the shifts I have open don't mix with my shifts. But yeah, very rarely do they have full-time officers working over their part-time. So
most all the hospitals around here, some of them have the rent-a-cops, but all of them have at least one, you know, real cop working extra duty there all the time. So
that'd be the smart thing.
I don't ever work them, but I mean, I know they pay pretty well and stuff, but I don't work any of those. But like I said, we're definitely going to get you on again. Sit tight, and I'm going to close this out, and then
okay,
we'll get it done. If you're interested, like I always say, MotorCop Chronicles gmail.com. Send me an email if you want to be a guest. Want me to read your story? Veterans, first responders, that includes, you know, paramedics, EMTs, jailers, correction, dispatch, any of that. Come on, be a guest. We'll have some fun, tell some story. You have any questions for me or anything? Like I said, you can get in touch with me either on Facebook, on YouTube also. Every Wednesday night, I forgot to mention this on the last one, every Wednesday night now, Doc Holliday is going to be a co-host with me, and we're going to do the midweek news stuff live. We were supposed to do it last week, as long as his work schedule allows it. But anyway, y'all check us out on that. We're going to do that live on Facebook and YouTube. Y'all can check that out also. Like and subscribe there. Click the little bell thingy. And like I said, till next time, remember, always smile, because the Iceman could be behind you.
I'm cranking up on the throttle. This is how legends are made.